Hello, welcome back to manvfilm. It's June already, time for another top 10 movies you can watch on Amazon Prime right now. Let's just jump into it. Number 10, Dark Places. Libby Day is a woman who survived the massacre of her family in their farmhouse in the countryside of Kansas when she was 8. She's been living on donations and lectures ever since. 30 years ago, the police believed a satanic cult was responsible for the murder, and her brother Ben was convicted with her testimony in court. Today, however, an acquaintance invites Libby to the Kill Club, where amateurs investigate famous crimes, and she finds that they believe Ben is innocent. And this really great crime thriller that shows you an interesting aspect to a victim of a mass killing and how she deals with the trauma and kind of works it to her favour and odds. And it's a really nice mystery at the heart of this. Goes places I wasn't expecting, has all the usual thrills and chills you would expect from this kind of movie, and is elevated by the cast that it has. A really worthwhile thriller that seems to have been missed by general audiences. Number 9, Under the Skin. An alien entity inhabits the earthly form of a young woman who combs the roads and streets of Scotland in search of the human prey she came to plunder. She seduces her isolated and forsaken male victims into an otherworldly dimension where they are stripped and consumed. However, existence in its all complexity begins to change the alien visitor. She begins to discover herself as human with tragic and terrifying consequences. Now, this is a really strange and weird and wacky movie. I think it is fantastic, not just because it's based in Scotland, but because it tackles themes and ideas that are very rarely tackled with this sort of aesthetic, which is stunning. It is beautiful to look at. Its full documentary start, the way it was filmed, moves into a more straightforward narrative in the latter half, which is just jaw-dropping. Number 8, Twister. TV weatherman Bill Harding is trying to get his tornado hunter wife Jo to sign divorce papers so he can marry his new girlfriend. But Mother Nature, in the form of a series of intense storms sweeping across Oklahoma, has other plans. Soon the three have joined a team of storm chasers as they attempt to insert a revolutionary measuring device into the very heart of several extremely violent tornadoes. Twister is one of those really kind of fun movies that has an exceptional cast that it shouldn't really have, that is really entertaining even though it really shouldn't be. It's one of those almost borderline guilty pleasure kind of movies. It has a flying cow at one part of it. I think it's just energetic, fun, high tension, constantly moving, and just completely entertaining. Number 7, The Guest. A soldier introduces himself to the Peterson family, claiming to be a friend of their son who died in action. After the young man is welcomed into their home, a series of accidental deaths seem to be connected to his presence. The Guest is one of my favourite movies this century. Weird, unusual, completely strange, with a fantastic lead performance by Dan Stevens. This is a movie that I loved showing people just to see their reaction, because it doesn't follow the normal tropes of any other movie I can think of, and for that reason alone it is essential viewing. Number 6, Sunshine Superman. A heart-racing documentary portrait of Carol Bonish, the father of base jumping movement, whose early passion for skydiving led him to even more spectacular and dangerous feats of foot-launched human flight. A fantastic documentary, really follows Carol, and thankful to all the footage he had of recording through his jumps, we get to see right into his life and all the death-defying stunts that he actually did. It is really interesting, really shocking, and just I love to see these kind of movies where it delves into the complexity of a character, of why they do these kind of things. Number 5, Revolver. After 7 years in solitary, Jake Green is released from prison. In the next 2 years, he amasses a lot of money by gambling. He's ready to seek revenge on Mr. D, a violence-prone casino owner who sent Jake to prison. He humiliates Macca in front of his lieutenants, leaves and keels over. Doctors tell him he's a rare disease and he'll die in 3 days. But loan sharks Zack and Avi demand Jake's cash in complete obedience in return for protection and safety from this disease. Revolver may be Guy Ritchie's most underrated movie. It's a really hard one to get into, but I find myself keep coming back to this one. It's in the vein of Lock, Stock, The Gentleman and Snatch, but it never kind of follows those kind of tropes. It feels as if it has more to say, and I've never quite unearthed the truth. I could be chasing nothing here, it could be void of that, but I feel as if there is something deeper within this movie that keeps drawing me back to it. Number 4, The Wraith. Patrick Walsh and his motorised gang control and terrorise an Arizona desert town where they force drivers to drag race so they can win their vehicles. After Walsh stabs the decent teenager Jamie Harkins to death, Jake Casey arrives, an extremely cool motorbiker with an invincible car. Jake befriends Jamie's girlfriend Kerry, takes Jamie's brother Billy under his wing and manages what Sheriff Loomis cannot, the methodical and otherworldly elimination of Packard's criminal gang. The Wraith is a bonkers movie from the early 80s starring Charlie Sheen and has a ludicrous plot. It seems like an alien has come down to drag race these criminals and drive them out of the town, but it is every bit as awesome as that sounds. It has got fantastic driving sequences, a plot that very rarely makes sense but is just completely entertaining. Number 3, Bad Samaritan. In Portland, Sean works at a fancy restaurant with his friend Derek. Both of these guys are small-time burglars, robbing from the houses of the customers while they're eating at the restaurant. One day, an obnoxious client, Cale, arrives at the restaurant driving a Maserati, and Sean drives it back to his house, and Derek watches Cale at the restaurant. While snooping around the house, Sean finds a locked room, and when he opens the door, he stumbles upon a woman tied to a chair with chains, gagged and bleeding. David Tennant is a fantastic bad guy in this movie that feels almost typical in its tropes. We follow Sean as he is put under more pressure as it turns out that Cale is an extremely devious serial killer who wants to torment Sean before finally putting him out of his misery. It has fantastic set pieces that really stretch the stress and tension of a scene to breaking point, and I think it's all down to the performances that this one's just so much fun. Number 2, Mad Max Fury Road. An apocalyptic story set in the furthest reaches of our planet, in a stark desert landscape where humanity is broken and almost everyone is crazed fighting for the necessities of life. Within this world exists 2 rebels on the run who might just be able to restore order. There's Max, a man of action and few words, and Furiosa, a woman of action and a woman who believes her path to survival may be achieved if she can make it across the desert and back to her childhood homeland. I utterly love Mad Max. I think it's a terrific action movie. I think it is the pinnacle of what an action movie is. Non-stop, eye-watering action from the start till the finish, and it is breathtaking. It is a movie that I can constantly rewatch and just love. I get drawn in to this action-packed tale. I love the characters, the look, the style. A truly wonderful action movie. Number 1, Ready Player One. In the year 2045, the real world is a harsh place. The only time Wade Watts truly feels alive is when he escapes to the Oasis, an immersive virtual universe where most of humanity spends their days. In the Oasis, you can go anywhere, do anything, be anyone. The only limits are your own imagination. The Oasis was created by the brilliant and eccentric James Halliday, who left his immense fortune and total control to the winner of a 3-part contest designed to find a worthy heir. When Wade conquers the first challenge of the reality-bending treasure hunt, he and his friends are hurled into a fantastical universe of discovery and danger to save the Oasis. Steven Spielberg is back in the playground where he can just do no wrong. That big budget, family friendly action adventure movie, and this works. I loved it when I saw it in the cinema. Revisiting it on Prime, I've just grew to love it even more. The characters are wonderful, the action set pieces are stunning, the special effects are amazing, and when you've got a bad guy as deliciously evil as Ben Mendelsohn, it's just wonderful. Everything about this movie is great, and if you haven't seen it, time to check this one out. So there we have it, 10 fantastic movies for you to check out this month. If I've missed anything off the list, if there is anything that I should be watching, let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.